I gotta get that link text to me.
All right. We are live. Welcome to another episode of Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science Series, brought to you by the Seven Spheres of Money and Duransburg International. You know, of course, I'm the namesake. You know, he's DJ the Money Coach, and we have a very special rising star guest that we'll be introducing in just a few moments. But, you know, let me talk to DJ for a minute. What's going on, DJ?
Man, you tell me what ain't going on, Nick. I mean, dude, it is an exciting time to be alive, to be a black man in America, brother. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better place to be in America than a black man. And you know what, man? It's the last Friday of Black History Month, but we all know Black History is 24/7, 365. I'm sorry, 24/7, 365. Because here's a tip to you. Guess what? Black history is American history. So get over yourselves. I'm going to say that right there again. Black history is American history. You show me anything in America that's been built, created, and actually blown up to greatness that don't have a black involved in it in a very unique position. No, you can't. So anyway, man, dude, we're coming off a great week. We've had a phenomenal, interview with Dr. Randall Pinkett. Man, we had a phenomenal interview with the only black-owned tequila company on the planet. I don't mean licensed like these other, fake brothers be licensing their names to liquor products. This brother owns, distributes, operates a tequila company with two other brothers. Man, I'm so excited about that. And on top of that, man, we had an awesome webinar, man, talking about Forex, talking about real estate, talking about the tax laws, and talking about how to help children put $1 million in the bank tax-free by age 60, in addition to them becoming entrepreneurs in America. And then we're going to cap it off with this rising star that got an amazing story, man. And, man, here's the thing, man. In America, you don't need a college degree, man, to be wealthy. You need some get up and go, some ambition, a plan, and you need to have that STEAM program with the emphasis on the access to mentorship and get your foot in the door. So that's what I'm excited about. I ain't telling my story no more, because if you don't know by now, hey, man, ain't nothing I can do for you, bro. But you know what? I'm free. Yeah.
No, all you got to do is go back and watch those old videos. So I'm gonna give this brother's name, and then I'll let DJ tell you how he met this brother, because I actually met him through DJ. So this is Mr. Brandon Jones, the VP of JP Pest Control. And, you're going to get the story about how he got to that position, his backstory, which, like DJ said, is a phenomenal story. So, we're just going to sit back and let this brother go in and tell his story. But DJ's story about how he met this brother truly exemplifies the power of, who and in relationships, and treating people with the platinum rule. So DJ, why don't you go ahead and give him that brief story of how you met Brandon in the conversation you had.
You're talking about a sliver, brother. I mean, literally a sliver. So Brandon's mom is an amazing lady. I mean, amazing. I mean, his mom is world-class, personified excellence. So you look in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of his mom beside excellence and supreme customer service. And I'm not saying this because Brandon's on here. I'm saying it because his mom is my hairstylist, but she's not my number one hairstylist. Okay. So his mom replaced one of my hairstylists that had cut my hair for a long period of time, was out on surgery, and his mom stepped up to the plate. I'm a very discriminating customer. I'm not hard to get along with, but I just expect excellence when I spend my money with people. And I expect people to expect excellence from me when they spend their money with me. So probably about 4 months ago, I stepped into my salon and my hairstylist is out on surgery. And so I'm like, oh man. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna give the next one up, the shot. His mom stepped up. She pulled out my ticket. She said, okay, Mr. DJ shows you want this. I said, Kathy, I'm actually gonna make some modifications to how I'm gonna get it cut today. And she was step by step, patient, taking the direction, boom, boom, boom. Man, slice me up, smooth me over, make me look like $1,000,000, man. And I was like, oh man, snap. I think I might got to fire my old hairstylist, you know. So I jump off, I give her a great tip, and I say, hey, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. And she said, hey, you know what? Your hairstylist may be back, but if you ever need a replacement, let me know. So long story short, my hairstylist didn't come back. She kept cutting my hair. And every time I go in to see her, I'm always go see her because I got something special to do. Because I like to be incognito. You know, I roll in looking scrubby, beard and all that. I don't look clean shaven like I normally am. So his mom really didn't know what I do for a living. She just know I be showing up at strange times of the day when most people got jobs. And then she was like, hey, you know, what do you do? So this week, I told her, hey, I got this interview with Dr. Randall Pinkett and JH, and I got to look like 3 million. Because I said, I know how Dr. Randall Pinkett gonna come. He gonna come boss, which he did. And so I said, I gotta tighten it up again, even better. So I had some descriptions for her. His mom, she was taking that time, boom, boom, boom. She hit me up, and then she said, well, what actually do you do? So I just showed her on my phone our thumbnails, and she was like, oh my goodness, you in business? Oh, that's all my son talks about is business. I mean, he be about that business 24/7, 365. And she said, man, he don't like to be around nobody if they ain't talking about business. She said, most people he be around are older cats. And so she just started telling me his story, how he basically, worked his way up, bust his butt. And then I was like, oh man, that's cool. And I usually hear that sometimes from people, and they usually not really serious about, connecting. So I said, hey, you know what? Tell you what, if your son is serious, have him give me a call. She was like, oh, forget that. We're going to text him right now. I was like, oh man, talk about go get her attitude. So she grabs my phone and she texts, DJ, this is mom. And I know he like, what the heck is this? DJ, this is mom. so she's like, oh, he ain't call you back? So I'm looking, I said, Kathy, if you text me, DJ, this is mom, I'm gonna delete and block your ass. So she started laughing. She get on her phone and she calls him up. She said, no, honey, that's the guy you need to meet and stuff. So I said, cool. So, she changed and I got my card. Next thing I know, we on the phone talking. I'm like, all right, man, cool, man. Yeah, He started telling me a story. I said, man, that's a coincidence that, I know people in this industry and I know people where you trying to get this contract at. But again, I'm not impressed because, again, I hear people, they chomping at the bit, but they never, put the pedal to the metal, really. So I said, hey, man, you really serious? You call me back today at X amount of time. Let's do this Zoom meeting. And sure enough, that brother was like, hey, man, boom, he owned it. I said, I'm going to have some people to introduce you to. So I did my deal. I put them dogs on the Zoom call that in that industry, and this brother is the real deal. So with that said, I'm gonna tell you, here's what you got to understand. Perfect is the enemy of great, but opportunity is very rarely jumps in your plate. And if you don't seize the moment, carpe diem, a lot of times, I don't care how great talent you have, how skilled you are, you will miss an opportunity of a lifetime. And this gentleman here, he did not hesitate. He didn't take my, abruptness, which appeared that, hey man, I got to get it. I got to get go. He didn't take that personal. He was like, oh man, okay, late folk. I sent him some information about me so he could vet me real quickly. So he made a quality decision. Boom. We came here and this guy showed me class personified when he told us his story on the Zoom call about a setback he had that 9 out of 10 times the income he was making, other people, I don't care what they look like, they would have been like, man, that's beneath me. I'm not going to take that far step down when I was way up here at the top of the mountain. But that character that he showed, that guess what, came from his mother and his father, because he was taught right, is the reason why he's on the show and the reason why he's going to be somebody that people need to know as a superstar in business. So without further ado, I'm going to give a better introduction to our new acquaintance and soon to be business partner, Brandon Jones. Brandon, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, guys. That introduction from both of y'all, I don't know how I'm gonna top this conversation at the moment. I'm trying to figure it out. But that story with my mom, that story there, I'm gonna definitely finish off a little part of it at the end, how we got to this point. But my mom is definitely a huge reason why I'm here. Why I'm here. And one thing you got to understand about my mom, like DJ will tell you, she is just as tenacious and just as ambitious how I am, but she never got the opportunity for somebody to grab hold of her and say, "Hey, we can go here. Open up your mind." And that's the whole reason why I'm here, is because uh, she didn't have that opportunity, and I want that opportunity for myself and to present that to my family, of course. So that is exactly why I'm here. I want to label that out and let you guys know, and everybody who's listening, that family matters overall. And then I hope a lot of people agree with that. Just to get a quick summary of me, Brandon Jones, I'm 31 years old. Graduated from high school. Simple, standard person. Nothing major. Come from southwest part of Houston. Like most people, DJ, I know you're familiar with that area. And that's exactly where I come from. If you know, Elsick High School is where I went to high school at. Graduated from Lamarck High School, my last senior year of college. Going through my high school years, I went through the average high school phase as a Black young man. I saw poverty. I saw, as far as gang violence, I saw everything you hear as far as young kids. As far as those youngins here on the radio, I visually saw that. So therefore, there was a certain point in my life, growing up in high school and going from being with this part of crowd, getting in trouble, and going to here and actually realizing where my life needed to be, and I was able to turn that around. And that's one thing that a lot of young kids nowadays, we don't sense to seize that moment when we need to turn our life around in order to even get to this point. So I believe there's different steps of what you do in life when you have a certain vision and you decide to turn your life around. I think life is like a book. You flipping pages. So every day, that's another page to flip. Something you learn today, you got to flip another page, right? I got to have the biggest book. I got to have the most numbers in my book for you to read, because I feel that I don't even have enough time in the world to even get everything that I have on my mind out. So therefore, I have to go 100% every single day. I have to. And just being raised from my mom and coming to the man I am today, I do have 3 kids. Their name is Brandon, Jamel, and Preston. They are all my kids. They are the definition of me. They are me. And that's another reason why I'm actually here sitting with you guys today. It's because of my kids. And I want them to understand, and I want to give them an opportunity that I didn't have neither. And that's going to be having a father who is connected and who has certain insights, ambitions that can teach those guys, teach my kids exactly what a man is supposed to be. And you can be whatever you want to be, but they have to believe that. And just to take a small step on my, growing up, that one thing I did for my kids is that I learned becoming a parent. I put back into my kids as a parent, learning from my mom. And one thing that I do with my kids is that I have a huge board in my office. And DJ has seen it before. I have the board section off to where there's little note sections for my kids. Even though they're only 4, 5, and 6, if you got something on your mind, come here and come right on my board. Come right on your board, put it on there, just whatever's on your mind. And what that allows them to do is I'm trying to help them understand that you can open your mind and free it openly. In our generation, my generation, we have come to be we can become some of the most closed-minded individuals and don't believe we can do this and do that because we don't see a Jones name driving down the freeway. We don't see a African-American name in the spotlight throughout the day. But you can't tell me you don't see a Sprite commercial, a Gucci commercial, a Ferrari commercial, a Ford commercial. None of them people Black. None of them. It's all last names, but there a lot of those guys, like the Ferrari, the Fords, that's their last name. They use their last name, and we in Gucci at that. We look at those, and I feel like I need to put my culture and my beliefs in front of my people, not all this other advertisement stuff that don't mean anything, that they're not teaching you nothing. So you got a Gucci watch. That's great. Got it. Great. Cool. But what do you own besides that? And that is my passion behind this whole drive. That is my passion. So I've summed up my full passion summary. I want to be able to take a step back into where I actually started as a man in a lot of people's books. I think DJ and Nick will agree. At 18, you feel like you're a man. You think you're a man. At 18, that's how you feel. I'm sure you guys felt like that, right? So starting out with that, I started my offshore career. So I get offshore, I do my normal government contracting paperwork and everything to be able to get offshore. And I get offshore, and mind you, I am 18 years old. Okay. My uncles did offshore. They did kind of great at it, you know what I mean? And they kind of told me about it when I was 17. I made the idea to kind of go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Brandon, let me interject real quickly. Explain to people who don't come from your area what offshore exactly means.
Okay.
Until I came down this area, honestly, if you said offshore, I thought about banking. I'm just going to keep, because that's what people do in the financial industry I'm in. We do offshore banking, so we don't pay no taxes legally. So explain them exactly what offshore means, okay?
Okay. So if you ever heard of drilling rig, oil rigs, things of that nature, I was on a vessel that actually platformed itself to the ground of the seafloor, and the whole vessel came out of the actual water up into a structure. So mind you, not only are you out in the middle of nowhere, you're 100-something feet plus in the air. So falling off this boat ain't the best thing for you, right? Mind you, at the same time, I'm 18, 100-something feet in the air. And there's about 30 Caucasian people on this boat and one African American at that, and that's me. So you're talking about the most frightening thing. I mean, it was I couldn't believe it. I didn't know it was going to be like that. I had no idea. They just told me, you want to make money, go offshore, go as far as whatever you want to do, nephew. And that's what my uncle said. But they never explained to me how it was really out there. And then I get out there, and mind you, I went to a company that they never even worked for. You know, I didn't follow their full footsteps. I said, I need to go somewhere because I don't want to shadow. I don't want to say, oh, his uncle was this. I don't want that. I'm gonna make my own headway. And I chose to do that. So I go to this company, I'll go on this boat for the first time ever. And mind you, I'm stuck out here for 14 days. I ain't no going home, no drinking after work, no getting off, kicking your feet up. You're on the boat for 14 days. You're the only black man on the boat for 14 days.
18-year-old man, well, you're really a boy with grown ass men.
But in my mind at the time, I'm thinking I'm 18, I'm a man, because that's what we all thought at 18 until you realize,
right?
Boom. Now you're a man. Now you're amongst this many people, and they're this age.
And you took one of their homeboys' jobs, so they really ain't feeling you.
Exactly. So you walking in, and you walk inside, and you're on the boat, right? You got to see these people every day, all throughout the day. So the mean mugging, it don't stop. The looking at it don't stop. The closing the door on me, it don't stop. That was going on all day, and for me, it gave me. And what I did was. What I do is when I get a scenario or a situation, I try to think about all the opportunities I can use with that situation, where it's negative or positive. Because if you don't know the negative, how are you going to get to the positive? Because you got to know which one is which, right? So therefore, I said, I'm going to turn this into a positive. I'm going to go ahead and do what was kind of already in the ancestry, but I'm going to mix this up this way to where this is my goal now. How I'm being treated now, I'm gonna make sure that I run my own vessel and nobody ever gets treated like that. So what I did is said, you know what? I'm gonna go straight to the top. The man who makes the decisions, the man who makes a decision on this boat, I'm gonna be him one day. And lo and behold, I went from ordinary seaman, which is an ordinary guy who is going around sweeping, mopping, cleaning the boat. You're basically the maid of the boat. I went from that through to my AB license, to my 200-ton mate license, then to my 200-ton master license. So I went from Brandon, do this, do that, to now, hey guys, I call my crew in. This is what I need y'all to do. Now I'm the one running the show. And I went from that at 18, and I had my actual captain license within the age of 23. And just for people to know, I'm not perfect. I didn't go to college. I didn't even realize, and I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't even realize till about 5 years ago that my 250-ton master license was equivalent to an associate's degree, because you have to have that certain level of higher understanding to be able to accomplish that license. Because I guarantee you, ask somebody if they can celestial fly, they're not gonna know how to do that. I can find my way in the dark with just one North Star, and I can tell you exactly how we need to get to Russia, USA, wherever we gotta go. So to have that level of understanding and not knowing that I had the associate's degree, when I found out, and because I didn't go to college, I was like, what about the support? What if I fail? my mom's not stable enough, my dad's not stable enough. What am I gonna do if this don't work? So that was my first leap that I didn't take, was college. And that was the last leap that I said, I'm not gonna ever not take my leap again. And lo and behold, I finish up the captain's career. I get into it and I find out that it's an associate, it's equivalent to an associate's degree. And I just thought to myself, you know, who, like, he would, you know, the Lord was still looking out for me some way, even though I didn't have the right direction. I might have been on the, you know, the right train, but the wrong track at the time. And he led up and said, you're going to get on this train and this track when I need you to. And that's when that 5 years hit, and I got a phone call, and I had got some research on my license, and that's what it was. So just to speak on that, I was able to actually still conquer that, somewhat of that college degree mindset or state of mind for my future forward, hence this interview in here. So just going from that to the actual Marine life offshore, I was a full 250-ton captain. I had a deck of 6 guys, and I ran that at the age of 23. I had guys, them same guys that was budging that door, didn't want to do this, them same guys that never came back to the boat. But what it was is I was the youngest captain of my company. I was the only black captain of my company.
Love it.
And now,
love it.
And now what happens to that is my uncles, they all offshore, they see that happening, and they come over to the company. And we were able to we had it to where we had the best vessel in the fleet, all black vessel. So I came in, 40 white people, mind you, 40 Caucasians, only black person. It took from 18 to 23 to turn it to where now people walk in, they look at us, and it's an all black crew. And we were the best crew ever until that company actually, you know, sold their company. But and that was my mindset of, I have to have a movement in anything that I do. I have to have direction. I have to have a pace. I need to know all the accolades it's going to take to make this happen. So therefore, when they came over, they learned, they did their thing, and we had the best boat. So I said, man, if I can do that, what else can I do? Now I'm going to my newfound book in my mind that I write on all day. You know, verbally in my mind, and said, well, Brandon, you can do everything, right? I said, okay, everything. So I actually, like some men, we go through a divorce. I went through a divorce at a younger age, my first son, and I went through that divorce, and I said, you know what? I have to be here for my son. I cannot be offshore. I need to transition over to something local. And this is where DJ.
Hold up for a second. So you mean to tell me you did the opposite of what the negative narrative is about young black men, which is an aberration. Let me point that out, because 90% of black men do the right thing all the time, except for these, you know, propaganda modems and mediums that they constantly pushing out here, especially about guys your age. So you went from offshore, had a divorce, and said, you know what? I got to go onshore to take care of my son, to be the man in his life. Man, you know what? Man, I can not say anything better about your character, because that was the boss move that you made. No matter how much money you make, Brandon, the fact that you stood in the gap and been in your son's life, that's priceless, brother. Yes, don't let nobody tell you otherwise. But back to your story, man. That's amazing.
Thank you, DJ. I appreciate that. Like I said at the beginning, my kids, that's my pride and joy. I know that's my legacy. So I have to protect that at all costs. That means anything. So, you know, just moving forward from that story, going from offshore and saying, okay, you know, I have to be there for my son. Mind you, I'm making at this time, I've been offshore from 18, and this was from 18 about up to about 25, 26, because my son is 6 years old. That's around when he was born. And went through trial and tribulation. I said, I got to be there for him. And I actually left offshore at that time, making $160,000 a year. Now,
say that again.
That's $160,000 a year at the age of 26.
Wait, so you 26 years old, don't have a college degree, didn't buy into the PWI institution of, you know, debt, but you were making $160,000 a year.
You know what? You know why that is, though, DJ. I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't wait for the handout. So what I did, I got on that boat. I got my pen and pad. The first thing I did, I said, all right, I need to learn about offshore. How many days does it take for me to upgrade from an ordinary seaman to an AB? That's the next step up. They said 120 days. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do. Hey, new boss man, I need to be on the boat for at least about 3.5 months. I can do that long. I don't have no kids. So I'm gonna help him get that 120 days real quick. Boom, finish that in 3 months, went over, went on ahead. I mean, finished that in 4 months, went on ahead and went over, took my license, right? Most people wait for the company to pay for it, not me. I went and paid for my own license, studied my own.
Wait. Stop. You invested in yourself too in advance.
Who's better than me?
Man, Nick, is there any reason why this brother is successful? Because he's emulating the principles of immutable laws of success, and nobody had to tell him. Man, keep bringing it, Brandon. Keep bringing it, bro.
And my biggest thing was once I got to that point and I passed that AB license, I'm nervous. I'm still young. I'm 19 now. I kind of, because I kind of crossed that threshold of 18 and 19 going into the field, and I was nervous. So I paid my way for my license, got back on the boat. All right, what's the next step? They said you got to become a 200-ton mate to make this amount. All right, how many days does that take? That's going to take you 565 days. All right, no kids at home. I got all the time to dedicate to myself. Hey, put me back on the boat for another 4 months. I'll take 2 weeks off, and I'll come back another 4 months. Mind you, after this, I'm 3 years off. I'm 3 years in and already at a mate, which is supposed to take you a 6-year time frame to happen. Right? So I'm a mate on the boat for a captain. Though right when I hit my time frame to be able to go get my mate license, there was a captain that was training. He said, "Man, I want you to be my mate. Come on the boat with me for a little while. Do about 3 or 4 hitches with me and see if you want to be a mate." I said, "See if I want to be a mate." Well, if I'm a mate, that's bigger than what I am now. That means more money. Why would I not want to be a mate? Right. Okay, I know what it is. You want to try to train me to where you want to put the fear in me that I can't do better. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay on your boat for 4 more months to finish up my license so I can get my training. And I went on ahead and called my boss and said, "Hey, man, go ahead and take me on off this boat." We just got there. I said, "I know I did, but it's not going to work out." He said, "Well, you the best. You one of the best guys I got, Brandon. I hate for you to quit or leave." I said, "I'm not quitting. I asked you to transfer me to another boat." "Oh, yes, sir. You're the best guy we got. We'll transfer." Transfer me to a boat. Older guy gave me a shot. He said, "Hey, do your 4 months. Go ahead and take your class, right?" So I said, well, man, what does it take to get a 200-ton master's license? A master is bigger than a mate, right? You have your ordinary seaman, AB, your mate, and then your master's. This is the guy on the boat who tells every single person what to do, all right? So, and mind you, including the company men from Shell, Chevron that we're working with on that vessel, if he's the captain, that's his vessel. You do what he says, don't care how big of a company you are, right? So I thought about it. I said, well, if I do 4 months, I can only go take my mate license. But if I do 4 months, take 2 weeks off, and come back and do another 4, I'll have enough time to go ahead and just get my 200-ton master's license, and my mate license will automatically integrate. I go online. I said, ooh, that's $1,600. Well, guess I'm starting for 4 months, then I'll be able to make that. Went back. I said, they said, "What are you here for, sir?" I said, "I'm here to go ahead and take my 200-ton mate, my 200-ton master." They said, "You have enough seat time?" I said, "I do have enough seat time." "Is your company paying?" I said, "No, they're not." The lady goes, "Your company's not paying?" I said, "No, ma'am, they're taking too long. There's $1,600. I need to take my test for my credentials in my book." I go in that class. Mind you, all your captains, their fathers were captains. Their grandpas were captains. But they were the ones driving the boat that we wasn't driving, if you know what I mean. That's how their fathers became captains. And that's why they captains. We didn't have that opportunity to drive the boat. So therefore, I said, well, I want to drive the boat. I went in there, walked in that class. There was a small class. It's a lot of information you have to absorb in a month and a half. And mind you, I'm once again in class, I'm the youngest person. They all look to the door when I walk in. And I said, I can't wait to teach all you guys what I know. Because they're all older guys at the moment. And they've been doing this for so long. I know I'm about to bring something innovative to the table. We get into the class first week, I'm helping the teacher with all the students. And I said, yeah, this is going to be a breeze. I got this in the bag. Went back, showed my company my license. They were waiting on me to come back. And they had my boat for me sitting at the dock. Mind you, my company is all the way in Louisiana. I live in Texas. They're waiting for me to drive from Texas to Louisiana to say, congratulations, here's your first boat as you run the captain. And it was amazing. It was amazing. But with the diversity in front of me, if I allowed my mind to stay limit and not limitless, then I would have stayed right there as an ordinary seaman from day one. That's what would have happened. And some of us, as our young generation, we look at our past and we grade our future off that past. We can't do that. There's no way we can do that. Because why? My kids are the future. If I'm steady looking back here, how I'm gonna push them forward and push me forward. So therefore, if that's something that DJ or Nick, I know that, not saying they were looking for anything like that, but I'm completely opposite of someone who moves backwards. Okay, I'm so forward that if McDonald's is on the right hand exit and it's on that right hand exit, me and the kids will go to McDonald's. But if it's on that exit to the left and I got to exit right to loop around, we ain't going to McDonald's. It's not a straight shot. You know what I mean? We got to get to the point. There's another McDonald's 5 miles down, so we don't lose traction going backwards, right? Because we should have figured out we was hungry on the way to McDonald's, headed that way. So I instill little notions in there of them like that because we cannot move backwards. Everyone that I have a motto that's very, very strong. That one that I learned in 8th grade by a teacher named Ms. Guidry, and I'll never forget it. Her main motto was, "He who fails to plan, plans to fail." And I'm sure you guys have heard that, right?
I use it all the time.
And that motto came from her in 8th grade. When I got to that captain level, when I brought my people over to my boat, I thought to myself, and I was just thinking of something in my mind, just kind of that next milestone saying to myself to keep me motivated. And I said, Brandon Jones, you will always need to do one thing. If you do that before you leave this earth, anything you do wrong should be okay after that. You should be letting the pearly gates. As long as this is on your mind when you talk to somebody for the first time. I will always reach one and teach one. You have to do that. In my generation, and while I'm on this show, I want to do that for my generation, hands down. So just seeing my growth through the offshore world, going ahead and going into the world of kind of separation with my ex-wife, my son. I get back on land and I said, man, I got to get a job. Got to work, got to get a job, got to find something. I go to a hydroblasting company that once again, you'll keep hearing me say my uncle because you got people that reference in your life, and if you listen to those referencing you do them, a lot of the times they work, right? And he's that guy that's always on my shoulder that is always a positive aspect of my life. So he goes, go over here to this company, you'll do fine. Trust me, you'll do fine. You'll be somebody, believe me. And I go to the company. I actually tell them what I've been doing. They see my resume. They're like, man, this is an amazing resume. You was an offshore captain. What you're asking for, we don't even do that over here. I said, I understand that, but I heard you guys were hiring. I don't care what y'all need. I need a job. So I hear you guys are hiring. What will you offer? All we're going to offer is $14 an hour, sir. I said, will I be home at this time? Can I do this at this time? Will this be all right? Oh, yes, sir. You have a schedule, this and that. I found a way to secure the future with my son. It wasn't about the money, none of that. It was a way to make sure I stayed afloat and made sure that I secured the future for my son and him knowing who his father is overall. And I was willing to take whatever at the time I needed it. I had to do it, and I had to do what needed to be done. Yes, it hurt going from 160,000 to 14 an hour. It was rough. It was rough. Believe me. But at the time I was young. I was saving money. I was doing certain things, and I was building my foundation at the time. So the money, you were looking at it, but like DJ said, I did a lot of investments for myself. So yes, by the age of 25, 26, yes, I had a 700 credit score. I don't mean the young version that they have, full TransUnion report, everything was already set. And I knew I had to invest in myself fully because I'm the best at what I do. That's how I look at it. So who better to invest in than myself first? And by doing that, I rolled over to that company. They sent me all the way to Orange, Texas for my first job. They sent me on Orange, Texas because they knew I came offshore. They knew I could stay gone for a long time. I get out there and I got this guy by the name of CW as my boss. Now, remind you, his name is CW. What do you think he looks like? Okay, and he's not opposite of me. He's exactly like me. So I get out there, and mind, I come from this offshore world. I'm about professionalism, business. I'm you know, out here, I'm the one who's gonna save your life. So I have to be on point every day. I was at work offshore. It was important. I get out there in this industry, and it's the same industrial field, but it's just a different part of the field. And the guy goes, "Yeah, man, we're just gonna kind of hang out today and do this and do that, just kind of relax." I said, "What are we doing? What equipment are we doing? What's the process?" He said, "Man, why are you asking so many questions?" I thought to myself, okay, you're not the right person to talk to. Is there another guy, this and that? Well, come to find out it was only DJ. I said, dang, I can't learn nothing from this guy, right? So I started looking around the equipment, just trying to figure something out from offshore industry and try to see if I can intertwine the two, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm gonna do whatever DJ says, or whatever he tells me to do, I'm gonna do it 10 times better. So when I did it 10 times better, the company man who actually pays for our services comes to me and says, "Hey, can you get your guys and your crew and get them lined up over here?" I'm looking at him like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm not him. But I know exactly how to do what you're asking because I ran a 7-man crew here. Hey guys, let's go do this. See Dub come out the restroom, out the porta can. What's going on? Hey Brad. He goes, "Hey Brad, what's going on?" I said, I got the crews up there doing this, doing that. First day on the job, all the way in Orange, Texas. Company man goes, "Hey, I want to see you back at the hotel when we finally get back, and I want to talk to you." I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." This is a company man, so I'm nervous. I'm thinking I've done something wrong.
You think you're about to get fired?
Yeah, he hadn't said nothing to me. I'm like, man, how did I mess up? I'm like, I've been doing this for forever, man. I know what I'm doing. So it comes out. Sorry, I'm a vodka pink lemonade guy.
All right.
Yeah. So I go. I said, man. So it's about 1900, somewhere around that time frame. I'm meeting back at the hotel, and he goes, "I just called your boss, Johnny Lewis, and that other guy, C-Dub. I told him I don't want him." I said, "What?" So now I'm like, "So what do you mean?" I'm thinking he about to tell me that he doesn't want me too, along with him. I'm like, "So what do you want to do, sir?" He's like, "Well, I want you to run your cruise like you was doing today." I said, "Do you know how long I've been here?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, your boss told me it's your first day. And when you finish running these crews over here, I want you to go back over he wants you to come back to the office in Texas and he got to talk to you." Okay. So I stayed out there for a month and a half running those crews. First day on the job, I had no idea, but everything I was doing, I formatted it along with that first format that I had from offshore. That made the staple of when I said, I think I'm a man, I want to be a man, I am a man. Right. And locking that down with him and going and seeing that guy pack up out his hotel and going home, I was like, well, you should have done better. And I kept on going forward. You know what I mean? I mean, what else can I do? And don't get me wrong, it was another brother, but that is exactly, once again, while I'm here. If I could have reached him and teached him at that time, things could have been different. But at the time frame, you can't go back and change that. And that's just all I can do is move forward once again. And that's what I chose to do. I'm moving forward. And stemming from that, moving forward, I get back to Texas after, a month and a half. I'm drained, right? I just now get to see my son, which is going on about a year at this time. So I've missed him. I'm just, oh man. So I finally get him. We get to my apartment. Maya went from $160,000 $14. Made him a little apartment, So we're laying up, me and my son, and we're just having a blast, right? We get to my house that night, get to my apartment that night, we're having a blast, we go to sleep. Johnny Lewis calls me, Sammy Chavez calls me in the morning at 6:30. Hey, I need you to come in. Mind you, I just came from Orange the night before. I just came from Orange. I said, man, I got my kid with me. If you could give me a minute, man, I wish I would have known. He said, all right, cool. Now, mind you, Sammy's just the operations manager at the time. Johnny Lewis calls me at 8 o'clock. He is the head branch manager. He is the HNIC, and that's him. He says, "You got your son?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I guess you better bring you and your son to my office." I said, "I can bring my son?" He said, "Man, come on, bring your son. Come on, office. Let's go talk. Come on up here." I dropped it with my son. I'm in the interview chair. I'm, once again, another nervous phase in life because I don't know what's about to go on. He goes, the work you did out there, we would like to bring you in to our industry. In the first position we want you to hold is a dispatch position. Dispatch, we all know that's the person on the phone sending people out. That's exactly what I was doing, learning equipment, learning the business. And I go, okay, yes, sir. I said, I took the offer. Me and my son, mind you, I'm sitting there holding him in the chair across from this man having an interview with my son. Another thought that I would have never thought that in a million years. So transitioning through that phase, going through dispatch, I went from dispatch to an operational position within the course of, mind you, I'm 31. If I said I quit offshore at 26, I must have started this at 27. Around 25, 26, I was transitioning from offshore back to land. So from that era of 26 to 25, going to 27, I was rising in the ranks at the company. And what happened was we went from one company to a company buying us out. And generally what happens with that is a company buys you out and they get rid of everybody who's a nobody.
Right.
I transitioned from that company clean slate because at that time I was a somebody. And so I made that cut. And I said, what do you do next, Brandon? I said, okay, operations. And you know how corporate ladders work. Corporate ladders, they're very long, very long. You got to become this. You get all the way to the top. And I said, okay, well, if I'm running operations of a major branch right now, what about if I was operations of another division for the company instead of just this branch, especially something special? And I requested a change to tank division in our company to go out and learn about tanks. Mind you, never learned about tanks, never really knew about it. And I asked to jump and venture off over there. And they gave me an opportunity. Andrew gave me an opportunity. I took it and I ran with it from tank division. Mind you, between this time, I've been married. I'm now having my other kid on the way. I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to go ahead and, keep life rolling, keep building, keep doing this. And my youngest two boys, me and their mom, we were supporting each other through the whole time of the era of me being with that company. I mean, me still being with that company and how it was, and just understanding how you can say, man, I want to do this, and you can do it. You can do it. And my generation, we don't really know. We're not in touch with that. I don't feel we're in touch with that. I've told a few people about what's happening tonight and what I've been doing. They're just like, oh man, that's great. All right, I'll call you back. Man, I'm like, man, you don't want to hear more. You don't want to learn. You don't want to know how this even occurred. And they're just like, great job.
Video games.
Yep. Thank you. In my view, of course, if I just told you I was on the boat 4 months, this long, I wasn't the 20-year-old at the club. That wasn't me. All right. People was calling me, be where you at? Man, I'm somewhere you can't even find me. Matter of fact, I don't even have cell phone service. You can't even get a hold to me. And that was my way to isolate a lot of negative in my life and pick up on a lot of individual book reading as well. That was a way, offshore was a way to humble my youngness, is what it did for me. It humbled me enough to say, you're only gonna be young for so long. What you gonna do after that? All that hot headed is gonna end up cooling down one day. And that force, that humbleness upon me, I had to take it, right? Because at that time I was on my own. There was no going back. There was no going back at all. And the full story of offshore, of how I really truly got there, the interview process was I applied for many companies. They called me. They told me to come in for an interview. At this time, of course, coming out of hospital, I hate to kind of go back, but this story is just, it's too crazy to pass up. It's too crazy. And I didn't understand what I was doing at that age, but I understand it now. He called me, come down and interview. Mind you, this interview is all the way in Louisiana. This time, there's no COVID. This is way back. Ain't no Zoom stuff. Nobody, you got to come in and come talk to me. Right. I got to drop 6 hours to go see this man. Mind you, I'm working a minimum wage job. I'm 18, just graduated. How am I get down to Louisiana? So I got a car. I got certain things, but I'm like, if I leave to Louisiana, I got to work the next day. What I'm going to do? Like, it's not a one-day trip, like this is going to be crazy. So I took my last check, which at the time was Academy Sports and Outdoors. Okay, I did have a job at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Through the age of 16, 18, I hate that I passed it up. I just didn't want to waste. I wanted to kind of get to some of the bigger stuff. But through that, I left Academy Sports and Outdoors. And I took my last check. I paid off anybody that I owed anything to, as far as the mom. I don't care if it was $10. I don't care. If I borrowed it from you, I paid you back. Cell phone bill, all that. I had a check. I probably had about $250. The next day after I get paid, and I spent that money, I had $250. So this guy called me for you. Mind you, Louisiana is a 6-hour drive. I got $250 left in my name. I said, my uncle called me. He says, man, let me tell you something. They usually hire on the spot. They usually do, but you never know. I said, well, I only got one shot. Or you got to come to Louisiana, come get me. Lo and behold, I go, okay, I got to take this shot. I go down to Louisiana. I pack my bags. I go to the parking lot of this company, and I'm sitting in the parking lot at 3 a.m. in the morning. They don't open up to 8. I lay back, take a nap. They open up the doors at 8. Hop out my car. I got a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, so my breath don't stink. You know what I mean? And I go and I do the interview. The dude goes, hey, man, look, we can, I want to say it's Thursday. Man, we can definitely bring you back Monday, and you can be able to come back to work, start doing your drug testing and everything. You'll be able to come back to work, and it'll be a week after that. I said, sir, I can't go back. I said, he said, what do you mean? I said, sir, I live in Texas. I had $250. I got $22 and about 76 cents left. It's a 6-hour drive back, man. I can't make it. I need a job today. Whatever it's going to take, I need a job today. And that man said, I've never had somebody come in as desperate as that to where I had to deny a person. He said, so I'm not denying you. I got a boat over here. You can go on, man. You can go sit on that boat, sign on as an employee, and go do your training. But if I didn't accept that I had to come back Monday.
Right.
I didn't accept that I'm just a black man. I didn't accept that I don't have a college degree that I didn't even know about at the time. I didn't accept that I grew up in poverty. I didn't, not poverty is just dirt poor, but yeah, there's some other kids that as soon as they born and pop out, they millionaires. I wasn't one of them. So therefore I didn't say no because of something I might not have known at that time. I said, I have to. It has to happen. Nothing is going to stray me away from what is on my mind. And once again, I have peers. I know how they think. And it is this, yet again, is the reason why I am here. It is this, I'm going to keep reiterating back to why I'm here. Because I want y'all to understand.
I love it, man. I love it.
Here. And I heard the web video yesterday, and the doctor brought up a good point. He said, what I liked about his message is something that a lot of my generation doesn't know, is that he said he had friends that he still has today from 25 years. And he named, I want to say he had 4. There were 4 names, 4 people from 25 years. Now I'm sure DJ, Nick, well maybe not Nick, DJ maybe. In your era, do you still have friends that you've known from all those years?
I've got 3.
You've got 3. So I don't know. I want to show you how I pay attention to stats. I don't know who's older, you or the doctor, but he went to 4 if he's older. You went to 3 and you're younger. And as you start to go down in generations, as they get younger and younger, that ratio starts to get smaller. You start to have to where I don't have 4 friends that I can say when I was 8 that I still know to the day. And just to know that's the type of disconnect that we're having. That how is it that DJ has 4 friends from 25 years ago, the doctor 25 years ago. I can't even tell you 4 friends from 8 years old. I'm only 31. The ratio in the community, in the black community, in the disconnect, in the reconnect, all that has to happen simultaneously. It's already disconnected, right? We got to get to understand it to connect it back. But nobody wants to reach out and say, man, I need help. Or man, teach me. Or man, I don't know.
Gotta turn off that idiot box first and foremost.
Exactly. But it's funny how you see that ratio dwindle down to this age. Oh, sorry. So
no, he's saying you got to put that smartphone down too.
Yeah. I'm saying this thing too. This another idiot box.
Yeah. You gotta
that this Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and Facebook and all that, and that's the 2021 version of the idiot box.
That is the killer. Hey, tell you what we want to do. Let's speed up and tell us how in a short period of time you went from first day on the job to the VP, and then let's get to the story about the opportunity that God presented you, and talk about that.
Good deal. So just starting from there, going from operations all the way forward, moving up to VP in the company now, there was a lot of learning curves and experiences that I had to go through. And moving from that position to this position to this position and trying to understand the industry that I was in fully to be successful, I put feet to the ground and I made that happen. And I used the same process, reach one, teach one, right? I played full politics. Everybody was gonna learn something from Brandon if you were Bob. And what that invested in people was, hey, owner of the company, Brandon Jones is teaching guys, they're saying this about him. So I made sure I looked around at what nobody else was doing with the company. And I said, I'm gonna do this. So I would go into the big corporate office, which I was in there, and I would go in everybody's cubicle. And good morning, dab. Good morning, dab. Before COVID even hit, I'm dabbing everybody. Good morning. That was my personality. And the owner saw that one day and asked me a question of, why do you do that? I said, I want everybody to have a great morning. And that's what I told him. He said, understood. And then from there, I was transferred over. I was actually in the tank division. I was coming up with a actual some missed paperwork. I'll put it that way. And I explained to the owner, hey, this guy here is doing this, this, and this. The guy had actually tried to fire me, right? He tried to fire me. I got transferred over to Clute, Texas, Freeport site of our company. I got transferred over there. And the same guy who tried to fire me, he ended up being let go about 6 months later. And that goes to show you that no matter if it's for you, it's for you. Right. Yet again, if it's for you, it's for you. I was fully protected and I didn't even understand it or know it at the time. Here I am thinking I'm taking a loss. And this man really honestly gave me a gain. And what'll happen is, oh, they let me go today, man. So I can't do no better. And we start developing this demeanor about ourselves that we can't be past where we see a lot of other people at that are just like us. We can do that. We can unite and do that. Correct? So I moved over to Freeport, and it must have been a sign that I needed to do that because this branch actually needed some uplifting individual. And I was actually promoted over to Freeport site, and I was sent in as a person to monitor the branch. And that's what I did. And from there, I conducted my notions back to the owner of the company. So after we did that, I moved from the rank of being an operational manager fully into the VP of today. But we're talking about a 5-year course of getting a raise every year, right? Because I did what nobody else did. I did this. The owner said, hey, if you want to be elite and go to an account manager, sales rep, anything in that aura, you have to have these requirements. What are those requirements? Guess what I did? I went back to my roadmap from offshore. I need to do those requirements. But what happens is that we can look in the mirror at ourselves and we can lie to ourselves in front of our own face. That's something that I can't do. So when I wake up in the morning, I have to be the best. I have to be this. I have to be that because nobody else is going to do it for me. So since I built that roadmap, yet again, I'm here because I have a roadmap. I have a way to do things, and I want to reach one and teach one. Right back to that saying, it has to be that. And I'm steady sticking that during this interview because I want you to know how passionate I am about anybody who's watching it, anybody who wants to know something. It doesn't matter. I want to give out my information, my knowledge, my power to the next generation, the next man beside me. Because if you're standing beside me, then I need you to be as great as I am. The only way you're gonna be able to do that is if we stick together and we learn together and we build together and we invest together.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
If we don't do that,
our own ecosystem, baby. I love it. I love it.
Our own ecosystem. So
that's right.
So just coming into the final VP phases and kind of getting here, and I'm gonna kind of go on DJ's story real quick and say I was in a meeting actually when DJ contacted me. This is just like you said last week. I know we kind of on the time frame. I just want to kind of get the story going. Is that I was in a meeting and DJ calls, I actually put the meeting on hold because I was
Sure
one
did.
conducting.
Yep, sure
Right?
did.
But DJ, what did I just do? I seized the opportunity. I had to. Well, I'm the boss when I'm running this meeting, so therefore I can stop it. Got to seize the opportunity. Got on the phone with DJ. We're talking. And one thing I knew, how I understood that DJ was exactly who he said he was, is when we talked, we hung the phone up in each other's face. We never said bye. Right. And that is something I do with the owner of my company today. It'll be, you got this, you got it. Yep, cool. And you'll no bye, no nothing. It's just, man, did he hang up in your face? No, we hung up in each other's face because right now it's time. We gotta go. We gotta go. And when he said that to me, I looked up and I said, this is it. I did just like that. I got off the phone. I looked up to the sky. I said, this is it. And I said, no going back yet again. He calls me. I'm driving home. Mind you, I got a big dually truck, right? So so to do 85 and that thing is kind of it's crazy, right? But I'm trying to get home. I'm so excited, and I get home, and mind you, DJ, they've been waiting for a little minute on the phone. I flip it open, and we have our conversation about the business and everything, and business that I'm trying to develop. And one thing what I was doing was I learned from the company I'm at now how you can truly fully invest in yourself and grow as a company if you invest in yourself. So once again, that format, I developed another format. How do I get from here to here in this time? Because it needs to be the shortest time. I got to go. I got kids. I got miles to feed. I got bills to pay. I got this and I got stuff to do. So I said, okay, Brandon, how are you going to do this? And when I got off the Zoom call, I got on the phone. And I called a few people. I said, man, remember this pest control company I've been telling you guys about, right? That's going to start. I've been telling y'all it's going to start. I've got a lot of stuff written down. I've got all this stuff, everything. And I called about 4 people. And I said, if what you've been hearing for over the course of a year from me is if you hear this and you believe in it right now, over a year ago, if you didn't, this is the time to do it now. If not, I learned how to drive the boat a while back. I'm driving it now. I need to teach y'all how to drive the boat. I don't want nobody in chains and cuffs sitting on the back of my boat. You're going to learn how to drive because you're going to be with me, and we're going to make sure that occurs and that happens. You know what I mean? That
sounds familiar, Nick? You need to show, Nick. Not next year. You need to show now, Nick.
Exactly. So I was just like, I said, man, I have to, yet again, I have to, if you with me, you with me. We're gonna build this together, and everybody, of course, your family. When you come with an idea, your family is like, yeah. Just like Nick thought when we first had a conversation, he was like, man, yeah, he said that, and I understand that, and they thought the same thing. And the funny thing is, they all fluttered to my house after this, right? They all fluttered to my house, and they get here, and my mind, I actually was able to open my mind to them. Because my family knows what I do, but they don't know the in depth of what I do. And when I broke it down. You can tell when people don't understand stuff, right? They cut you off. They ask a question in the middle of you talking. So it was all that. It was, what about this? What about that? I said, hey, look, guys. Do I need to cut the lights off to humble the room? Because I will. Can we do this as adults? Everybody silence for a minute. Let me just break something down for a second. And it took me about 15 minutes. And my family said, we're in. It's done deal. They were already in before, but just to know, just to see, you know, their spawn of a generation actually pushing that book forward. It was something that that they never thought they would see in the family. And when yet again, if I went from ordinary seaman to captain offshore, and from this person at this company, then of course the money came back, right? The money came back.
It's in your DNA, baby.
Right. So I failed. I didn't fail. I
learned fast forward.
Yeah. And I said, okay, I learned. And one thing is, a young generation, again, we tend not to learn from our mistakes, correct? We tend not to show appreciation. We tend to think, since it's there, you're supposed to give it to me.
Right.
This is there, and I see it, it should be mine. I should be able to walk up and grab it and do nothing more for it. That is not the truth. That is the furthest thing from the truth. If somebody's giving you something and they just giving it to you, 9 times out of 10, it probably ain't for you. You know what I mean? It's a lot of what we do as individuals and what we build. There might have been a hint of something given, but the rest of that 98% was you, and it has to be. In our generation, they're more on the 35 mama, 25 daddy, friends, this percentage. They're not including themselves. They're saying everybody owe me something.
Right.
And that's not the truth. And I
it's a
feel
privileged mentality that they've been taught to keep them where they are. At the
exactly.
End of the day. So you're the exception to the rule, but you're really not the exception because you're the rule, because that's the way we actually built this society. So we can't allow ourselves to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, we're getting ourselves, distracted from what we're really building here in America. So here's the thing, that you took an opportunity, you created the DNA, you had the blueprint, you followed it. So like all CEOs, Brandon, and what people don't realize, that CEOs, once you get to that C-suite and you know how to run a business, you can run any business because it's all the same. I can go from technology to cleaning to medical, because as a CEO, the principles of being a successful CEO are all the same. They're universal. But you got to understand and learn what those principles are first and foremost. How do you learn? You learn by actually jumping in and learning to actually figure things out, or somebody gives you the blueprint so that you can run it. So here's the thing I want to summarize and put this to. So right now, you had opportunity. The opportunity is presenting itself. And that person that told you about the opportunity told you, hey, man, you can't wait until the end of the year. We need to get you locked and loaded now, because it's another window of opportunity that's going to pass you by no matter how many skills you have, because the opportunity is now. So just like you, when I got off the Zoom call with you, I called my guy who's the cool of the city, and I did some research myself, and it solidified what we were talking about, so I can make sure that, hey, you know what, this is a legitimate opportunity, regardless if it's not. I said, you know what, I'm going to invest in this guy, but hopefully this is a great opportunity for us because we're businessmen as well. Correct. So what I want you to do is give us, in like 60, 90 seconds, how you envision taking the next step, becoming fully an owner, and what you envision that will become in scalability. Talk to us about that. Do it about 60, 90 seconds, because we always like to keep our events nice and tight and come out, with a nice message to keep them coming back. So elaborate on that for us.
So the way I envision this is learning from a small company growing to a big company is that, first off, employees are most important, right? People are most important. Without people, you have no business. You need people to run a business, correct? So with this pest control business that's been started, we're looking from a 2-year window to a 5-year window as far as growth potential. And what I'm looking at is the start and development stage of growing. Notice I said start development stage of growing. So you need to, when you start it, you need to plan on growing it, right? You can't say it's going to stop here. You want to go full scale. So that is my envision of this pest control company that has been started up, Black owned, is that we want to create how should I say this? What others like us have not created for a full spectrum, to say, giving out jobs to African-American people, investing back into the community, investing back into ourselves, owning something that has a name, pushing Black excellence forward from our company. We're talking about sponsoring, doing things in the community that we need the people in the community to see we doing. Notice I say I called everybody we, because we're together. So this yet again is I'm from all I'm understanding, my grandfather said, God must have put all this on your mind, grandson. So follow your mind and don't ever steer different than what you think. And from the great doctor yesterday, I thought when he said innovation and invention, right, is two different things. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. We already own the wheel. We are the wheel. We just need to put the new innovation to the wheel together. It might start out with 4 lugs, but we might got to go to a diesel truck and get 6 lugs. We might go to 18 wheeler. Now we got 20 lugs. That is how we want to grow our community. Our involvement in the African American aspect is by creating a business that is a lucrative business, for one, that we as a team, as my team that I have, we know the pest control business. My father done pest control for an unseen amount of years, 25, 26 years. And mind you, I'm only 31, so he must have been doing it since I was born, right?
Right.
So I've been knowing him to be in that uniform since that day. And I went by using that and taking that opportunity. I told my dad 6 years ago to do this. I mean, before my first son was born, we were going to do this job, do this company. He had doubt. He couldn't do it. I don't want to quit my job. I can't do this. I can't do that. I said, okay, how am I going to push him off the cliff with me? How am I going to push him? Because I threw my parachute off in Louisiana. I threw it off in Louisiana. It's done. And now to this day, what I did was I actually invested so much in myself to where I forced people to believe in me. And my father is semi one of those, right? And now he's seeing what his son has done. And now, just when DJ called that day, and I explained to my dad what just happened, he says, I guess it's time for me to take my parachute off, son. I said, yeah, I'll take that parachute off, brother. Because it's in our face too much. I was seeing pest control trucks. I was seeing commercials. I was seeing this, and the next thing you know, we get the government issued contract going, talking to the customer, talking to this. DJ calls, mom calls, we have the Zoom, and the next thing we get invited, this and this, and we're starting it. And I said, once again, where are we at right now? I told my team last night before this interview, where are we at right now? The no turning back phase. Another format to my book of life that I know my generation, we need that format. We need it bad. Like we said, the ratio, DJ went from 4 friends, Nick said 2. I mean, not Nick said 2, but we're at 4. He's at 4 friends, and me and Nick are probably maybe 1, maybe 2, 3. Right now, for me, I'm maybe 1, maybe, and that's from when I was maybe 17, not 8. You know what I mean? And that is not good. And for that's not good. This in with this company, it is going to produce enough revenue, enough streaming to where I know we can be the best company out there and outdo the bigger companies. Why? Because I started at the small company and grew it to the big company. So why not do that with my own company, along with helping our African American culture, our community, our people. Man. Once again, I'm gonna reiterate. That's why I'm here.
I got 3 things I want to unpack here. Number 1, people got to understand, when God gives you a dream, only one can prevent it is you. That's it. Number 2, you have to be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable, be comfortable with that in order to stretch yourself, in order for God to bless you with the dreams that he put in your brain. That's number 2. The third thing is, this ties in what Dr. Randall said yesterday. He said, the only thing that I said, you asked him a question. I said, what would be 3 things that you're excited about in 2021 if you had to go back and talk to yourself again? He said, you know what? First and foremost, only thing we can leave our children with that is of value is wealth. And how do you achieve wealth? Through equity and ownership. That's the only way you can do that. So your dad worked in the industry for 25 years because he was indoctrinated, and nothing he had to do about that because that's the way the system's set up. But you planted a seed with him 6 years ago. You said, hey, Dad, we're going to do this one day. And that seed has germinated and manifested itself today, which actually was yesterday, and you were already prepared for the opportunity. So when that sliver conversation between your mother and I, it basically just said, hey, man, you were faithful, and now we're going to bless your faithfulness, but faith without works is dead. So you did all of those, okay?
Exactly.
So the young people that are watching this, I want them to understand that it may not happen on your time frame, but you got to keep doing the work, and you got to continue to work your plan, and you got to have goals and hold yourself accountable to those goals. And sometimes they don't work the way you want. But when that blessing happens, step up to the plate, and then God's going to bless you 100 times over. So there was another saying that Dr. Randall said yesterday. He said, my ancestors' ceiling should be your children's floor. Because if you guys remember, I said, I want to give you an idea about average in a regular person's house. I said, Dr. Randall, you're a PhD. So in your house, excellence is average.
Yes.
And your kids are only going to see that. So what is average in your house? And so in your house, excellence, a great attitude, a platinum mindset, and a never looking back and no limits on your potential is what all your 3 children are only going to see. And
yes,
that's
sir.
so important. And that's why I was telling Nick, man, we had to have you on his show, because what better way to close out Black history than with somebody whose star is just about to take off. Dr. Randall, albeit he's number 92 on the Black Enterprise most wealthiest companies, he's been doing this for a long time. So we need to get people, see people like you, Brandon, that are young, ambitious, got a plan, and bringing people from your elders to your peers to the forefront to say, hey, man, ain't nothing special about this. I'm just out here doing it. I expect it, and I'm expecting opportunity to present itself to us. And then we come along and we just add another piece to a puzzle that you have already been putting together, that you were prepared and you weren't afraid to step up to the plate. That's a beautiful thing. And I'll leave with this. There's this guy that was on another program, it's a very successful program. And Nick and I talked about it. He had built this game on financial independence that actually was totally different from Monopoly, but he was referred to a guy in China that he never met, but he had $900,000 worth of orders for this game. And the guy hopped on the phone and told him, hey, man, I need $250,000. He didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall. It was sent it to China. The dude took a leap of faith, Brandon, sent this guy $250,000. And that guy ended up becoming his best friend and made him millions of dollars. But 99.9 out of 9 times, nobody, no matter what color you are, take that risk. But he said, you know what? My risk is actually lower than my commitment of people already bought into me. So I need to get the job done. And that's exactly what you did. And I'm excited about that, man. So this is what we need to be teaching our people, that your excellence is not, an aberration. It's actually the norm.
Got you. And that is exactly what that is. And something that I want to just kind of leave off before we close the segment for my generation is, I want you to think about your grandfather, your grandmother, the people, the time and the era before them. Just think about how hard it was for them to even get a paragraph out of what they wanted to say to somebody. They couldn't even speak unless spoken to. Of that slavery era that we had to go through in order to get to where we are today. And one thing that really helps me, and I hope my generation takes this from this video, is just gather that, try to tap into their mental of that era way back, and just look at how far we have came, and take what they wanted, try to take their feelings and their pain and all that, and put it with yourself to push you forward, because you have to have motivation to do something, right? You got to have motivation. If that don't motivate you as a Black person to know that your ancestors went through this, and you have an opportunity to redirect, re-innovate that whole wheel, why not do it? That is my question to my generation, because I'm here today, so I have an answer. I want them to think of their answer, because there is no reason why we can't. There's no reason why. I went from walking on the boat to thought I knew anything, to now being here learning that I knew anything at this age, but now I'm opening up my mind so much that I know everything. I want to know everything. And in order to do that, you have to motivate yourself. If those ancestral plots and your family and what you have behind you at this generational stage don't motivate you enough to do that, then I'm hope you see the show. It doesn't matter if you didn't. You know what I mean? You have to have that. How does that not prepare you? You know.
We have a saying on the show: if you don't get it, your wood is wet. Wet wood sinks. Okay?
There you go.
So, young people always like the money. So tell them how much you impacted your current company's bottom line. Because you told me, and I was impressed. You went from making $14 an hour. What was the company's revenue when you first started with them?
Man, from what I actually researched and looked at, I want to say their revenue was sitting around between 4 locations, was sitting around maybe about 10 million between 4 locations. You have to understand we're doing plant stuff, so that's pretty small for a company who does plant worldwide cleaning. And when we grew with that company, I was at $14. Then the company went from 10 million to 15 million. I helped save on costs in many, many ways. When they went from 15 million, I went from 14. Now I'm at 26. You know what I mean? Because through that time, I went from that to where we move up to the ranks. So I'm at 26. And then after that occurs, we move up. We actually move out the building off the side of the road like the Jeffersons. And now we got a skyscraper building built over in Deer Park. And of course, that revenue went from $50 million to now $250 million. So guess where my revenue went in my pocket? Went from 26 back then to now salary sitting at this and sitting at that and slated to make 250 this year, 250K this year. That's it. That's me. That's and that's just if and that's if which I can't even say. I can't even say it because I won't do it.
No, yeah. Don't tell them everything, but there's no reason why you are now VP. You know what this reminds me of, Brandon and Nick? This reminds me of the story of Joseph in the Bible, where his brothers wanted to sell him off to the enemy, to Potiphar, and he's getting enslaved, and he goes from being a slave to the second in command in a matter of years because he had faith. He worked his plan, and he treated people with the platinum rule. So Brandon, if you don't know what the platinum rule is, brother, let me share with you what it is, because you are the epitome of the platinum rule, bro. Just like your mom. So there's 3 rules in business that most people don't know that corporate America uses all the time. There's a thing called the silver rule. This rule is what corporate America uses. They will do the least that they have to do to get the most of your money and stay out of jail. To get best business practice. And they generally start doing that when they start making so much money that losing your individual business doesn't mean anything to them. Okay? That's the silver rule. The golden rule is what we all know. Do unto others the way you want to be done unto. The way I personally want to be treated, I'm going to treat Brandon that way. However, Brandon, what's your favorite car? If I'm going to pay for it, what's the favorite car no matter what the price?
We're going Mercedes GT.
Okay, so you want a Mercedes GT, it probably costs 6 figures. I got the 6 figures, but you know what? I'm a Lambo guy. So I said, Brandon, I got the Lambo for you. It's brand new. I dropped 6 figures. You're happy because it's a brand new car, but you're not super ecstatic because it's not the Mercedes GT. However, the platinum rule is I roll up to your door and give you the Mercedes GT with the keys to it and still spend the 6 figures. That's the platinum rule. So when you were talking about going through the company, bumping people, keeping their spirits up and making them feel good, you were applying the platinum rule. And guess what? The owner noticed that in the work ethic, and the people knows how you made them feel better. So they start working harder for you, even though you hadn't been there longer and you were younger. You gave them what they needed was humanity and made them feel good about themselves. And they said, you know what? I'm now beholden to this man because he showed the value in me and he sees me. That's the platinum rule. Okay. So that's what we're excited about. So at the end of the day, man, it really boils down to this, that you went from 18 working with men that they had nothing, no love for you at all. And you put your grind, put your work in, and you rose up the ladder. Boom. Went back to the most important thing was actually be a man to a son growing up, took a pay cut, which wasn't a pay cut because you invested in your son.
Right.
Okay. And if you never made any more money, dude, you still made the most important rule, investing in your son. Okay.
Correct.
But God said, I'm going to bless Brandon again. I'm going to put him in another situation, and boom, you accelerated back up the ladder because there's no competition at the top, baby.
Exactly.
There is a saturation on ignorance and laziness. But in terms of excellence, and treating people right, dude, it is unlimited. So you did that. So you conquered that, took a company from 510 to 200 million. Boom. Now you're a six-figure man and you got ownership in the company. Man, I love it. Now you about to get blessed with the biggest opportunity because you and your dad and your family about to own your own complete enterprise. And I have no doubt that your company is going to make millions. So tell me what you expect to achieve in the next 3 years with your new enterprise and why you excited about that. And then we're going to close out.
One thing, biggest thing I expect to achieve is to uplift and acknowledge, enlighten my family for one. That's the first notion, right? Is once again reach one, teach one. That is the first notion. And to raise my family's mental thoughts and open theirs, because if I do that, that generation, it trickles down. You got to do that first. And like you said, that going through dabbing up my other employees I work with, this and that is going to be a huge factor in our company. Our company that we run, it's going to be about the employees. It's going to be about what we bring to that table. And it's great. We want to make millions. We do. We want to grow the biggest. We want to do that, and we are. But people are the first investment, and that is what I learned from a multi-million-dollar company in growing it. If your people don't like you, your people don't work right for you, right? So I'm looking to make this pest control company the biggest staple that we can to speak off of. I can't rap. I'm sorry. It is what it is. This is how I got to find my staple to speak to my people. And that, again, is the reason why this is starting. It's bigger than the pest control. It's bigger than the money. It really is, because I like what the doctor said. I just kind of hate what I've envisioned. You can be gifted the wealth, but if you don't have the mental, you can't keep the wealth.
Exactly.
Easy to get rich, it's hard to stay. Scratch a lottery ticket and find out. And that is my reason for coming to you guys when we did and talking to DJ. And I want to use this as a staple. That's what I want to do. And we want to grow it as big as we can, because the bigger we grow it, the more voice we have. And that's it.
And the more miles and the more jobs you create in our community. And
Correct.
We don't have to be looking outside our community. And that's another thing that we need to share with our people. Guess what? There's 40-something million people that look like us in this country. Guess what? There's no need for you to ask anybody else for help, because all you got to do is go to somebody look just like you and me. Nick, it's your show, baby. Let's close it out, man. Let's wrap it up and get the show completed, because we didn't set it all, baby, tonight.
I got to get back to work.
Yeah. We're gonna let you get back to that. Yeah. So this conversation was fire. I mean, we all know that, but if you need any more convincing, let my girl Ashley Rodriguez let y'all know. You see it there. You see it,
Ashley. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that's
right.
right.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, I heard a few recurrent themes in your story, Brandon. Just to wrap it up, that contributed to how you got to where you are now. One was the importance of family. Intergenerationally, of course. Starting with your mother, and I heard you mention your uncle a couple times, and your grandfather, and you took all of those lessons and those principles and applied them. You added those to your own life experiences, and you took those lessons and you're passing those on to your children.
Right.
That's powerful in of itself right there. We talk about changing our communities and changing the world, but we have to understand that it starts with ourselves, and then it starts with our families, and then we expand outward from there. And
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I have one question off what you just said about me quitting that job and going to my son, is that you have to understand is that what type of dedication do you have? I was making the money, no problem, but I had a son at home that needed me. Did I need to go buy them Jordans? No. Did I need this? No. So why not X those out and think about what he needs and invest that future into him? That's what I chose to do. My generation, there's a few out there that choose to do different. They want those Jordans. I don't need Jordan. He already rich. I mean, come on now. So that's why I ultimately did that. Go ahead, DJ. I'm sorry. I mean, Nick. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out.
It's all good. It's all good. I understand. We're part of the same generation. You're 31. I'm 30. We're part of the same generation. So I definitely understand and witness firsthand much of what you talked about, and just the other key theme that I heard come up was this idea of moving forward. I know you mentioned it. You gave the story about driving your kids to McDonald's, but I also heard this theme come up in your backstory growing up as a teenager. You had all those influences around you coming up in high school. Again, we're from the same generation, so the influences you had are the same influences that I had. So I definitely understand where you were coming from with that. So you were tugged in a lot of different directions, during that time, but you tapped into that tunnel vision and you were moving forward even from that young age, and that's something that stuck with you, up into where you are now. So I salute you for that, and I'm excited about where you're going to go from here. And we definitely got to have you back on here to give us the developments, and also touch on some other topics too, because I feel like you sound like you can go in on
I'm trying to hold back a little bit. I really am.
We don't want to give it all in one show, Brandon. We don't give it all.
That's why.
It's a like I said, take that mindset and think about what your people couldn't do, and I carry that passion. That's why I'm like I am. I carry that passion every day. I don't know if about y'all, but I don't want to be on first class alone. I don't think that's the way that's supposed to go. I just don't see it that way. And that is exactly my ending statement to this, is just saying I don't want to be in first class alone. I want my people all to be in first class, because we all was riding on that boat together when we couldn't drive. Now I'm flying and we ride. That's how that's supposed to be.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful right there. So, give everybody, your contact information about your company.
Let them know how we can get in touch with you, because we got a lot of stuff, and there's going to be some opportunities for people to invest, because that's what we're about. At the end of the day, man, we're about the 7 spheres of money. We're about helping invest in our community. We're about helping creating job opportunities, and we are about leading the economy. And the only way to do that is have access and membership. And like I always say, it's STEM. And what STEM means to me, the acronym is science, technology, entrepreneurship, access, and mentorship. And you embody all of those. So give us your contact information where we can hit you up, and we'll go from there, and we'll close this thing out.
The main contact line will be my cell phone number. First off, that's the quickest way to get to me. It'll be 832-423-3810. And that's 832-423-3810. I'm always by the phone, day or night, no matter what. Another email at the moment that since we're getting a lot of balls on the ball right now, rolling so fast. The email currently right now, if you want to reach out to us, if you want to know more about the business, if you want to know as far as what we're doing, or just talk to me personally via email to get a hold to us, or even send us some vendor information, wherever the case may be, because no telling who's watching. You will get the link. The email you will use at this moment is ERICAJPESTCONTROLE. That email is our development admin lady. Her name is Erica. She will be the one actually monitoring all email communication through that email. That is Erica JP Pest Control at Outlook.com.
Okay.
That is it. Erica JP Pest Control Services at Outlook.com.
Man, that's fired up. Nick's gonna put that across the screen. He's gonna put it in the description as well. So hey man, again, hey, we want to thank you, Brandon Jones, for coming on the show. We want to thank you for telling your story. One thing I would leave with you, hey man, if you haven't been documenting your story from the beginning of your start at 18, I encourage you to start documenting everything you do from this day forward, because the most important thing is going to come out of this. There's 3 phases we go to life, and this is the close. We go through a struggle. And typically that's what you did when you got out of high school. Most people go to college, but they struggle to become a professional. You became a professional offshore. And when you became a professional, you became successful when you start making that $160,000 a year and became that master. That's success. But that's not the important piece. The important piece, Brandon, and Nick knows this, is significance. And significance is when you reach one, teach one, and actually multiply multi-generational wealth and transformational knowledge. So you're in the process of becoming significant. Has nothing to do with your age. So what you need to do is to document everything. And the worst case scenario, Brandon, is that you do it for your children. And this is what I always tell my children. I say, hey, if dad passed away tomorrow, you will know 3 things about your dad. He's a winner, he's a leader, and he's a shepherd. And you got proof in video, emails, recordings, contracts that you know you are a winner, a leader, and a shepherd. Because your dad's an eagle, and that makes you an eagle. You may think that you're a turkey because the propaganda is telling you a turkey, but guess what? Eagles fly, turkeys fall off cliffs. So with that said, Nick, hey man, close it out how we always do. Thank you, Brandon, again for your time. And of course, we'll talk offline. And hey, if you're watching this program and you like what you're feeling from us, hey, like it, subscribe, and share. And honestly, I don't personally care if you do that, but I care for you if you need to get to the next level. Okay? So again, like, share, and subscribe. We're going to have more rising stars like Brandon Jones. And what best way to close out Black History Month with a young, up-and-coming go-getter who actually is demystifying and debunking that bullshit that they putting out here in this propaganda called media. Because Brandon may be the exception in that world, but he is the norm in the world where Nick and I come from. Ain't that right, Nick?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yep. So you got the YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel. We're also on social media, Facebook and Instagram, 7 Spheres of Money. The website is DJThemoneycoach.com. So we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and we invite you to come join us on the beaches of the world. Whatever that beach means for you, where you feel free at. Yes. So take care, and we'll see you on the next broadcast. Peace.